Silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. Your peace is your loudest clapback. The higher you rise, the quieter your critics get. Level up so hard, they can't recognize you. Your absence will speak louder than your presence ever could. Success is the most expensive revenge, and you pay for it with focus. Silence is the most powerful revenge. It burns deeper than words because it forces people to face themselves. When you stop reacting, you take away the fuel that keeps their fire alive. You strip away the satisfaction they get from knowing they've disturbed your peace. Silence isn't weakness, it's control. It's the ability to stand firm in your truth without needing to justify it to anyone. It's understanding that not every battle deserves your time, your voice, or your energy. People expect you to react. They expect you to defend yourself, to shout back, to get emotional. And when you don't, when you simply step back and choose peace over noise, it unsettles them. They're left wondering what you're thinking, what your next move is, whether they've lost their hold over you. That uncertainty eats at them far more than any comeback you could give. Silence is not the absence of a response, it is a response. Deliberate one. It says, I'm no longer available for this level of energy. It says, I have better things to focus on than proving my worth to someone who already made up their mind about me. It tells them you refuse to be dragged into a cycle that goes nowhere. Revenge, in its most destructive form, is about getting even. But the best kind of revenge doesn't require destroying anyone else. It's about building yourself. When you focus on your growth, your healing, your success, you automatically create a gap between you and those who tried to bring you down. And the wider that gap gets, the harder it becomes for them to ignore the truth. You didn't just survive without them, you thrived. The beauty of silence is that it gives you time. Time to reflect instead of react. Time to redirect your energy into things that matter. Time to rebuild yourself into someone unshakable. You can't do that when you're constantly caught in battles that don't serve you. Every time you engage in petty arguments, you hand over a piece of your peace to someone who hasn't earned it. But when you choose silence, you keep all of that energy for yourself, and you grow faster because of it. There's a certain kind of power in walking away without explaining yourself. People think closure comes from conversation, but often it comes from acceptance. Accepting that not everyone will understand your side of the story. Accepting that not everyone is meant to stay in your life. Accepting that your growth will make some people uncomfortable, and that's not your problem to solve. Your silence also forces others to sit with themselves. It leaves them with their thoughts, their actions, and their guilt. And there's no distraction to ease that discomfort. Words can be dismissed, argued against, twisted. But silence leaves nothing to fight with, nothing to misinterpret. It simply exists like a mirror, reflecting their behavior back at them. And here's the truth. When you stop giving someone your attention, you take away their stage. You remove the spotlight they've been standing in. You show them that they're not the center of your universe, and that you have your own life to live. That's when your absence becomes louder than any argument you could have had. So let them talk. Let them twist stories. Let them paint you as the villain if that's what they need to do. You know your truth, and your truth doesn't need defending. Live in a way that makes the lies irrelevant. Build a life so full, so joyful, so unshakable, that they can't help but notice, even if they never admit it. Silence is not about surrender. It's about choosing your battles wisely. It's about protecting your energy and proving, without a single word, that you've already won. Your peace is your weapon. It is the invisible armor that shields you from the chaos, the noise, and the negativity the world tries to throw your way. When you protect your peace, you protect your mind, your heart, and your focus. It is the most valuable thing you own because without it, you can't think clearly, love fully, or move forward with strength. Too many people spend their energy fighting battles that don't matter, reacting to every insult, every misunderstanding, every petty jab. And in doing so, they hand over their peace like it's worthless. But your peace is treasure. It's rare, it's sacred, and not everyone deserves access to it. When you give energy to pettiness, you lower yourself to a place you've worked hard to rise above. Pettiness thrives on reaction. It needs you to get involved, to be pulled into the drama. The moment you engage, you've already given away the very thing that keeps you grounded. The most dangerous thing about engaging with negativity is that it doesn't just take your time in that moment. It lingers. You keep replaying conversations, thinking of what you should have said, allowing your mood to be shaped by something that should never have had that much control over you. Your peace is like a garden. If you let weeds grow, small insults, unnecessary arguments, toxic people, they will spread until they choke out the beauty you've worked so hard to cultivate. Protecting it means being intentional with who you allow into your space. It means understanding that not every message needs a reply, not every rumor needs to be addressed, And not every fight is worth winning. The real win is keeping your mind clear and your spirit intact. People often mistake protecting your peace for weakness or avoidance. They'll say you're running from the problem. But the truth is, you're choosing your battles. You're refusing to waste time on people and situations that will not matter in the long run. A petty person wants you to match their energy because if you don't, they have to sit with their own behavior, and that's uncomfortable for them. By not engaging, you're forcing them to deal with themselves while you keep moving forward. When you learn to protect your peace, you start valuing your time differently. You begin to notice the difference between things that deserve your attention and things that don't. You stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. You stop justifying your choices to people who were never going to support you anyway. You start recognizing that your focus is better spent on building your life, nurturing your dreams, and surrounding yourself with people who genuinely want to see you win. Pettiness is a trap. It pulls you into a cycle of back and forth that goes nowhere, leaving you drained and distracted. But your peace is power. When you choose to protect it, you stay in control of your energy. You decide where it goes, who gets it, and what it fuels. Instead of feeding drama, you feed your goals. Instead of feeding resentment, you feed your growth. There is strength in walking away. There is strength in saying nothing. There is strength in refusing to be baited into someone else's chaos. It's not about being passive. It's about being wise enough to know that your energy is too precious to waste. Some people will never understand this, and that's fine. They're not meant to understand because they're not living at the level you are. Your peace is your weapon, and the way you wield it is by keeping it intact. Protect it like treasure. Guard it like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. A peaceful mind can't be manipulated. A peaceful heart can't be broken by small-minded actions, and a peaceful spirit can't be defeated by the noise of the world. Keep it safe, keep it strong, and let it be the silent force that carries you past every bit of pettiness that dares to stand in your way. Outgrow them, don't fight them. Rise without lowering yourself to their level. There comes a point in life where you realize not every person who challenges you deserves your response. Not every insult needs an answer, and not every act of disrespect is worth your energy. Some people are committed to misunderstanding you, twisting your words, and seeing you through the lens of their own insecurities. Engaging with them only drags you into a place you've worked too hard to rise above. The truth is, the most powerful way to win is not to destroy them. It's to leave them behind by becoming someone they can't reach anymore. Fighting them means playing their game. It means stepping into a ring where the rules are built to keep you in constant conflict. And the more you swing, the more you lose focus on your own goals. But when you outgrow them, you change the game entirely. You're no longer playing in their arena. You've built your own. You're not meeting them at their level because you've climbed higher, and the air is cleaner where you stand. Growth is uncomfortable, especially for the people who refuse to do it. When you elevate yourself, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, you become a mirror to those still stuck in their old patterns. Your progress reminds them of what they could have done but didn't. It's not your job to dim your light so they feel comfortable in the dark. If your growth makes them uncomfortable, let it. If your success exposes their excuses, so be it. You're not here to make everyone feel good about staying the same. Outgrowing someone is not about pretending they never existed. It's about understanding that the version of you they knew is no longer here. You've evolved. You've learned lessons they haven't. You've gained clarity they can't yet see. And in that evolution, you realize that fighting with them would only pull you back into old habits you've worked hard to leave behind. You don't need to win arguments with people who are no longer on your path. You just need to keep walking forward. It's tempting to want to prove a point, to show them you were right, to make them admit they were wrong. But that desire can be a trap. It keeps you looking back when you should be looking ahead. When you outgrow them, you accept that their opinion no longer has the power to define you. You stop needing their validation because your worth is no longer tied to their recognition. That's when you truly rise. Rising above doesn't mean you ignore everything. It means you prioritize what actually matters. It means you choose peace over chaos, purpose over ego, and progress over pettiness. You start seeing the bigger picture, that your time is better spent building your future than defending your past. It's in that moment you understand that silence, focus, and success will speak louder than any confrontation ever could. Some will say you've changed. They'll say you've become distant, arrogant, or unrecognizable. But the truth is, you didn't change, you grew. And those who refuse to grow will always see growth as betrayal. Let them think what they want. You're not here to drag everyone along with you. Some people are meant to be part of your story, but not your whole journey. So rise. Rise so high that their words can't touch you. Build a life so full and so strong that their attempts to pull you down feel small against the backdrop of everything you've accomplished. Outgrow them, don't fight them. Fighting only keeps you stuck in the same place, battling the same battles. Outgrowing them frees you to step into a future where you no longer need to prove anything to anyone, because your life speaks for itself. Growth threatens stagnant people. Your evolution exposes their excuses. The moment you start changing, not everyone will celebrate you. In fact, some of the loudest resistance you'll face will come from people who claim to care about you. It's not that they always wish you harm. It's that your progress becomes a mirror they don't want to look into. It forces them to see the truth about themselves, that they could have done more, tried harder, dreamed bigger, but chose comfort instead. Your growth removes the shelter of their excuses, and for some, that's unbearable. When you start moving differently, you disrupt the unspoken agreement you had with certain people, the one where you both stayed the same. You might not have realized it, but your sameness was part of what made them comfortable. They could look at you and think, we're in the same place, so I'm doing fine. But the moment you elevate, whether it's in your career, your mindset, your habits, or your self-worth, you break that illusion. Now they can no longer tell themselves the story that they're doing enough. And instead of being inspired, many choose to feel threatened. It's easier for stagnant people to criticize you than to confront their own lack of growth. They'll say you've changed, as if that's an insult. They'll try to downplay your achievements, make jokes about your ambition, or remind you of your past mistakes. These aren't random reactions. They're defense mechanisms. Because if they acknowledge your transformation, they'd have to face the uncomfortable truth that nothing stopped them from changing too, except themselves. Your evolution is like turning on a light in a dark room. For those who have been sitting in the shadows, it's blinding. It forces their eyes open before they're ready. That's why some will try to pull you back down, not necessarily because they hate you, but because your presence at a higher level makes their stagnation harder to ignore. But you can't let that stop you. Your growth is not a betrayal. You don't owe it to anyone to stay small so they feel big. You don't have to keep playing the same role in someone else's comfort zone. The truth is, not everyone is meant to go with you to your next chapter. Some people are only written into the earlier pages of your story. And that's okay. The key is to remember that you're not responsible for managing how others feel about your progress. You are responsible for honoring your own potential. The people meant for you will see your growth and cheer for it. They'll be inspired to step up themselves. But the ones who only feel threatened will either distance themselves or try to sabotage you. Let them go. You are not here to shrink yourself to fit inside someone else's limitations. Growth is a choice and not everyone will make it. But if you've chosen it, you have to accept the side effects. And one of them is losing the approval of those who would rather you stay the same. That's the price of evolution. And it's worth it. Because the alternative is to keep living the same year over and over again just to make others comfortable. So keep moving forward. Keep becoming the person you were meant to be, even if it means walking away from those who can't handle it. Let your evolution speak for itself. Let it make the excuses around you crumble. Growth will always threaten stagnant people, but that's not your problem to solve. Your only job is to keep rising, and in doing so, you give silent permission to anyone watching that they can rise too. If they're brave enough to try, boundaries protect your energy. Not everyone deserves an explanation or access to you. One of the most powerful lessons you can learn in life is that you do not have to be available to everyone, all the time, for every reason. You are allowed to choose who gets your time, your attention, and your emotional investment. This isn't selfish, it's survival. Without boundaries, you end up drained, resentful, and disconnected from your own needs. With boundaries, you reclaim control over your life and protect the energy that fuels your growth. We live in a world where constant access has become the norm. Phones, messages, social media. People expect instant replies, immediate answers, and unrestricted contact. But access to you is not a right, it's a privilege. And like any privilege, it can be given, adjusted, or revoked. You don't owe everyone an open door to your mind and heart. The truth is, not all connections are healthy, and not every person who wants your attention has good intentions. Boundaries are the filters that keep out the noise and allow in only what strengthens you. Setting boundaries also means letting go of the guilt that comes with them. Many people struggle because they fear being seen as rude, cold, or selfish. But those who truly respect you will never see your boundaries as an insult. They will see them as a sign of self-respect. The ones who get angry or try to guilt-trip you for saying no are the very ones who benefited from you having none. You don't need to justify your decisions to people who refuse to understand them. Not everyone deserves an explanation. There's power in simply saying, "I'm not available," without defending, over-explaining, or making excuses. When you explain too much, you invite others to argue with you, to poke holes in your reasoning, or to push past your limits. Some people will never accept your boundaries, not because they don't understand them, but because they don't want to. And that's exactly why those boundaries need to stay in place. Protecting your energy is about more than just saying no to toxic people. It's also about saying no to unnecessary conversations, to draining commitments, and to anything that doesn't align with your values. Your mental space is precious. Every time you give it away to something that doesn't serve you, you're taking it away from the things that actually matter. Boundaries ensure you're investing your energy where it will grow, not where it will be wasted. It's important to remember that boundaries are not walls, they're gates. They don't shut the world out completely, but they decide what comes in and what stays out. You can still be kind, generous, and compassionate while being firm about what you will and will not tolerate. In fact, having boundaries allows you to give more authentically because you're giving from a place of choice, not obligation. Some people will leave when you start enforcing boundaries, and that's okay. It's better to lose connections that drain you than to hold on to them out of fear. Every relationship in your life should have a balance of respect and reciprocity. If someone cannot handle the limits you set, it's because they were more interested in controlling your availability than respecting your well-being. You are not responsible for managing how others react to your boundaries. You are responsible for protecting your own peace. Boundaries are not about shutting people out. They're about keeping your energy safe so you can show up fully for the people and opportunities that truly matter. The more you practice setting them, the more you'll realize that your life feels lighter, your relationships feel healthier, and your mind feels clearer. Not everyone deserves an explanation. Not everyone deserves access to you. And the moment you embrace that truth, you step into a level of freedom and self-respect that nothing and no one can take away. Elevation is the ultimate clapback. You don't need to argue, defend yourself, or waste time proving your worth to people who doubted you, underestimated you, or tried to hold you back. The loudest statement you can ever make is to rise above it all and live in such a way that your life becomes undeniable proof of what's possible. When you focus on your own growth instead of engaging with negativity, your very existence becomes a message. A reminder to everyone watching of what they could have done, had they been willing to put in the work. There's something powerful about quiet progress. You don't announce every move. You don't chase validation. You simply keep building, keep leveling up, keep becoming the best version of yourself. And one day, the same people who dismissed you will have no choice but to see the results. They may not admit it, but deep down your success will sting. Not because you did anything wrong, but because it forces them to confront their own complacency. When you elevate, you break the unspoken expectations that others may have placed on you. Some people liked you better when you were struggling, because it made them feel better about where they were. Your wins disrupt that balance. They no longer have the comfort of thinking you'll always be at the same level, sharing the same frustrations. Now, your achievements hold up a mirror, showing them what's possible if they had chosen discipline over excuses. But here's the key. Your elevation should never be about revenge in the petty sense. It's not about obsessing over those who hurt you or making them regret it. True elevation is about living so fully, so freely, that you don't even have the time or interest to look back. You're too busy thriving to waste energy on bitterness. The beauty is, in focusing on your own lane, you still end up delivering the most powerful response imaginable. Because nothing challenges a critic more than seeing you succeed without their approval, help, or permission. Living well is not just about material success. It's about peace of mind, strong relationships, self-respect, and the kind of confidence that can't be faked. It's waking up each day knowing you built your life on your own terms. It's traveling the road they said was impossible, and doing it with grace. It's creating a life so rich in experiences, purpose, and joy that no amount of gossip, shade, or doubt can touch it. Some people will be inspired by your elevation. They'll see what you've done and believe they can do it too. Others will feel exposed, because your growth removes the shield of what's impossible they've been hiding behind. For them, your life becomes a constant reminder, not of your arrogance, but of their untapped potential. And while they may try to downplay your journey or ignore your wins, the truth will always be there, quietly pressing against their excuses. So keep moving forward, keep choosing the work over the drama, the discipline over the distractions, and the vision over the noise. The most satisfying victory is to create a life so aligned with who you truly are that no one's opinion can touch it. Let your progress speak where words would fall flat. Let your actions build a legacy that stands longer than any argument could. Because at the end of the day, Elevation isn't about them. It's about you. It's about becoming the person you once dreamed of being and realizing that was the real goal all along. And in doing so, you will inevitably send the clearest message possible. You didn't just survive. You rose so high that the ones who tried to hold you back can only watch and wonder what could have been if they'd done the same. You don't win by clapping back. You win by leveling up. Let your life become the loudest proof that you were always capable, always worthy, and always destined for more. When you rise, you don't just silence the noise. You turn it into an echo of what they could have been, had they chosen growth over comfort. So keep building, keep elevating, and let your success speak in a language only progress can translate.